quite low in this division. Now, it's never an easy job to take out anyone, Ben, in the North American Star League, but I mean, you know, honestly, he already played against Oz, he already played against Puma, he even managed to beat Puma, and now he's going to play against Hyun. So after this, I do think he still has a match against Carlo, against Cloud, and so at least either of those two is going to win. So yeah, their records look a little bit less sad. It's hard to put it any different, but it's still possible for TLO to at least stay in the North American Star League. And if he beats Hyun, almost anything is still possible. Imagine if he wins 4. Last season, TLO started off rough as well, and then suddenly towards the end of the season, he started to win a lot more series.
If he were to win out, that would maybe even qualify him for a wildcard spot. So that is also something else to consider. ZVZ, a very volatile matchup. If ever there was a time where, like for me, when you talk about the best players in the world, if I was going to say, all right, I have to try to snipe off a top 5 international player, I'm gonna aim for a Zerg player, because I do think the volatility of the mirror match means that a less skilled player, or even like just an underdog, has a better chance of winning against some of these big names like what Hyun's becoming.
That is true, that is true. TLO is going to open up Hatch first over here. TLO, of course, playing under the account of Bumblebee, his manager. Now, once more, guys, we had 2 makeup games in the start of the day, so those were games from the previous weeks. This is a game that was supposed to be played on this division play day. Hyun against TLO. Talking about that, man, today we also announced our new league commissioner, so big shout out to Ken Silva, who is going to join the NASL team, crew / family / Ohana. And hopefully from now on, Ben, everything is going to run smoother. We're going to have less walkovers, less games being postponed, and more StarCraft 2 action.
And of course, nobody is more aware of the pain and the difficulties of having walkovers on an almost daily basis here at the NASL. We had to say goodbye to our old league commissioner, but we welcome in Ken today with open arms. We hold him close to our bosom, and we will embrace him tightly, because if he does not do a good job, we'll just choke him out, man. Kick him to the curb.
So Ben, ZVZ Entombed Valley on these positions, what do you think we are going to see?
I think ZVZ is reaching a point of relative stability. Almost every game is fast expand into usually defensive banelings. Sometimes we see some cool stuff like what Targa likes to do.
Targa is like the only player in the world who's like, no defensive banelings for me. That just makes a ton of links and goes for that beautiful arc of banelings morphing and then wiggling them in. And
from there, the common follow-ups are Roach, Hydra, and Fester, or maybe sometimes we'll see some Muta plays. I kind of think it's going to be the former. I think it's a high likelihood that we see some Roach stuff, but Korean Zergs in particular really like to go Muta, so we might see that out of Hyun, and we might see that out of TLO, as he has been living and training in Korea, basically absorbing that metagame.
Hyun had much quicker gas though, Ben, as we can already see. Gas is for him on the way. He's going to morph in his Baneling Nest now as well. TLO on the other end is still gasless. Dario, I hope you know what you're doing.
This is so cool to see. Kind of an old school way to play. This is still how I play ZVZ sometimes, where you delay the gases, you get queens out. We see he's making his 2nd and 3rd queens now. Might even see him go up to 6 queens. And you just rely on static defenses. Queens, spine crawlers, good positioning to defend against just about everything. Now, it is very punishable. By delaying your speed, you can't stop the other guy from taking a fast 3rd base. And because you delay your gas so much, your tech is often a little bit slower. But it comes at the trade-off of an excellent economy. We can already see TLO is drastically outmining Hyun.
Yep, he's up 8 work. Well, he was up 8 workers. He's up only 3 works right now. I'm still a little bit worried, Ben, about the potential pressure that Hyun can put on TLO. He's gonna need a good wall off either way, no?
Yes, but I'm just waiting and expecting to see TLO like sacrifice something for a really good scout of his opponent. And if he does have this Overlord right here at the edge of the natural. He can see there's a gas building there in that natural. That's an important detail. It says, all right, well, my opponent is probably like moving forward in his tech. He's probably not trying to end the game right now.
Actually, Hyun is not going to be aggressive at all, as he's been droning up pretty hard behind this. Now he's even going to fake some aggression, man. Going to bring these banelings across the map, which is probably going to force out quite a few roaches out of from TLO immediately, as he did see those banelings pass. And well, actually now Hyun is just retreating them, but still 7 roaches in production.
Yep, he does bait out 7 roaches. That's great for Hyun. It allows him to go up into a little bit of a worker league. We can see TLO is starting to establish his gas income. He's gone up to 4 gases. He's going to have, wow, he's making 9 roaches. He might even
I
attack.
think TLO is just going to attack, and I don't think that's a terrible idea either, as Hyun is going up to layer pretty quick. We can see that his layer attack is around 30-40 seconds quicker than the one of TLO. He might just try to skip out on all the roaches, despite having a roach warren. He might go. Yeah, I guess not. But he's also upgrading +1 for the roaches.
Now, if TLO attacks here, and he is starting to move out, like the real danger is that he's still attacking into speedlings. He still doesn't really have any upgrades. So yeah, roaches are good against lings.
Hyun is really going to need some units real quick. When Ben, he's not making an overload. Hyun is going to be supply blocked on like the worst moment ever.
Wow, that could be a game-ending mistake, as TLO is going to come forward here with these roaches. Hyun frantically trying to get something going.
Immediately cancels his turret base ban, but perhaps, yeah, I guess keeping it up wouldn't have mattered.
Are you kidding me right now? This is going to do huge amounts of damage. A ton of drones are going to go down, absolutely. Hyun's doing a very smart thing by preserving this spine crawl, and he's actually going to defend with banelings against roaches. That's not something
he needs something because he was supply blocked, so how else is he going to get units out? TLO right now walking over here. Imagine if this hatch was still morphing ban, then he could have taken quite some damage and then cancel it.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen TLO leave a single roach behind. Oh, and that's what he does. Nicely done there, TLO, because that'll allow you to at least confirm when that hatch goes down. He's going to see it, knows exactly what he's playing against.
TLO didn't deal the amount of damage there that I thought he might have been able to the moment I saw that Young was supply blocked. Don't you feel the same way?
I don't know, man. If he overcommits and he ends up losing those units, then it puts him in a pretty awkward position because he now has to be the guy making more units. I think it was okay. He basically brought himself back to even, maybe even a little bit ahead, 48 drones to 45. I would say mission accomplished. Forced Hyun to make some units and didn't
absorb a few banelings as well.
Yeah, absorb some banelings. Resources lost shows us that TLO is much less invested right now than Hyun is.
But Hyun, as soon as he realized what was going on the other side of the map, he made a lot of drones early on. I actually think he's been mining a little bit more throughout the entire game than TLO has, despite the way that he opened. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, he does have more resources invested into his army, and that's basically because he has more money to spend, so I think you're exactly right. We are going to see Hyun moving out on the map right now with some roach baneling. I don't think it's going to be really easy for him to attack into TLO, as first Infester's on the way out. And TLO's got a decent roach count with good upgrades finishing up. He's going to be 1-1 here in a second.
Looking okay, Ben, for Dario. Already picked up 1 win today, but still taking out Hyun in his EVZ is going to be oh so hard. Why is TLO making his second roach warren, Ben?
I do not have a good answer for that.
Perhaps afraid that it gets sniped eventually because it's part of the wall up?
Maybe. Yeah, I
think that's just the case. I think he's just
afraid. He's I don't know, man. Maybe he just wanted to spend 150 more minerals on something, and he couldn't quite make up his mind.
I think he feels it as long as he survives, because maybe he feels like
it could.
He's in great shape.
That makes more sense than any other theories we have. I mean, it could be just great foresight. Hyun's not going to be attacking, so it turns out this extra roach warren is not going to be a factor, but just in case.
Yeah. Later on, it's always nice to have it at least in the back, because it's so much less vulnerable than when it's part of your wall. How many games did we not see, Ben, where you have an important building in your wall? For instance, your cybernetics score, which happens to me every single day, and then I can't warp in stalkers anymore and I lose.
Actually, one of my favorite moves in later games EVZ is to burrow some infestors in and use infested terrans to kill the roach warren and then attack at the same time so they can't reinforce. So
exactly.
TLO would not lose to that in this case.
Not at all. Army Supply shows us that TLO has a small advantage upgrade-wise. He has a small advantage as well. He's around 50-60 seconds ahead. So far playing a pretty clean ZVZ.
He is a little bit behind in workers.
Actually, he is 1-1 as well. So
Hyun's gone up to 70 drones. That's one thing, but we do see TLO adding in workers now. This is a very super even ZVZ, Kevin, and it's reached the point that it's just sort of stalling out. We see them both going Roach, Hydralisk, and Fester, kind of like we talked about early. And we probably won't see much action until these two players max.
We're close to max.
It has been said before, and I do not think this is wrong, that the attacking player in ZVZ is the player that's most likely to lose, because you give up the strength of having a big preset position. You can't basically, it's much harder to make a big concave and attack than it is to make a big concave and defend.
So if you're a Zerg player, Ben, in either of these situations, how many Hydralisks do you want to be part of your army by the time you go for that first real big engagement? I'm sure that's a question that a lot of Zerg players at home struggle with from time to time. How should I compensate my army? How many roaches? How many infestors? How many hydras?
It's hard to find that magic number. I think the best answer is you want to have enough roaches that they are always what is getting shot, and enough hydras that they're the ones doing all the real damage. I think TLO's got a nice balance right now. He's made about 28 roaches. He's going to max out on Hydralisk, and that'll leave him, you know, 25 of each. And from that point forward, I would like to see him favor Hydras over roaches a little bit more.
Well, man, as you predicted, the game is stalling out just pretty much. TLO leaves map control up to Hyun, but he does have vision of what's going on with his Overseer, just parking it above the army. There are quite a few Hydras right now as well, so the Hydras will be able to take care of that Overseer. Now it's going to get a little bit more weird for TLO, as suddenly you feel a lot less comfortable, man, the moment where you suddenly lose vision in ZVZ.
Yeah.
Like, this is supposed to be the
actually,
matchup.
he's in a terrible position right now as his army is on the wrong side of the map, as Hyun's going to march forward. TLO is terribly isolated, loses a couple of infestors, a couple of Hydralisks, rather. And it was a big fungal that was just cast by TLO, and he's going to...
The infestors of Hyun are going to be very exposed this way, though, Ben.
This is going to be such a crazy fight. Hyun's basically separated from his reinforcements. TLO has basically trapped this army. It's fully committed. Whoever wins this fight is probably going to win the game. Supplies are both staying very, very high, but Hyun appears to have just a little bit more. TLO, of course, has a drastically shorter reinforced distance, and he does have 20 roaches in production. Oh, it's such a close fight, man, and it's almost going to be a complete wash, but Hyun will come out of that ever so slightly ahead, walks away with 180 supply against 160.
TLO actually has a worker advantage right now, so what did Hyun do, Ben? Why did he, well, TLO just made an insane amount of drones after that, after we checked the works for the last time. So the longer this goes, you could say eventually it will get better for TLO. Now I have to do add that in this previous fight, TLO had 2-1 upgrades while Hyun was still on 2-0. Perhaps the next time when they fight, unless they're going to fight immediately, it's going to be the same upgrades. So that one advantage that TLO had. Hyun only has one infestor in this fight, Ben. It's going to be pure roach for him.
TLO is in a similar situation as he doesn't have that much energy. Oh, great play by Hyun. He's going to split up a couple of roaches here. These guys are really dancing around each other, trying to find the best place to fight. TLO wants to be able to get a good fungal. There's a single great fungal on a huge clump of units. A couple more are going to go down, but Hyun looks like he might just have way more numbers. He's got 103 army supply against a little bit less from TLO.
He just has so many roaches, but a lot of roaches are still in production as well for Hyun. TLO, he just needs to hold one more time, then he might be able to stabilize, but I don't think it's going to work. Great play over here by Hyun, bringing the Overseer. He keeps vision of those infestors, picks them off, and TLO is crippling, man.
Yeah, I don't think that TLO is going to be able to hang in there like this for much longer. He does have some reinforcements popping out. Maybe, just maybe, he'll be able to clean up this attack, but after losing... Yeah, he's going to lose this. No.
Well, one roach won't take it.
Well done, TLO. Saves that expansion. Lost some drones there, and I think that actually helps TLO because he had 2 mini workers.
There were 2 drones, by the way, Ben, on this 3rd base who killed quite a few drones over here on the 4th base of Hyun, and now going to kill a few drones over here as well. So TLO with these 2 drones forcing Hyun to get all the way back to perhaps this side of the map. Now he's going to burrow those roaches to be extra annoying. TLO is 14 drones ahead. If he stabilizes, anything is still... Oh, this is probably going to give him the time to stabilize. He's actually in the supply lead right now, Ben.
Yeah, you know, I think, honestly, one of the reasons that TLO was struggling in those earlier fights is because he had so many more workers than Hyun, and it just meant that his army supply was substantially weaker. But now, with the worker counts being much, much closer, I think we should see the first truly even fight of the game.
Hyun, what are you doing? Not really dealing with these 2 infested 10. It's kind of funny because these 2 were the infestors, man, that just barely made it out of this fight over here. They saw a few of their friends fall, but they survived. They crawled across the map and then actually started being annoying immediately. Well, I think the TLO just like rallied them away, trying to keep them alive, and turned out great, picking up a few drones as well. TLO putting up a good fight.
He's also remaxing on pure roach. I'm really curious as to why he's choosing not to sprinkle in any more hydras. Hyun, as we can see, is also very, very roach heavy. But is starting to add hydras as well, just to get that extra little boost of damage output to his army.
He's going to have around 10 hydras. This time, however, Ben, they are even. During all this, we did have a much quicker hive tech for Hyun, and this is something that's very crucial, guys, because you can get those +3 upgrades. +3 is halfway done for Hyun. Whoa, TLO, this flank is not really going to work out. Beautiful catch over here by Hyun, and immediately he's going to reposition, Ben, and he does have all those infestors.
Yes, he does. TLO's a little bit clumped up right now, but actually it's Hyun who's fighting from a very awkward position for dealing with fungal, and a couple great fungals go down by TLO. Incredible fungals there as the entire army of Hyun just being blanketed. But if we look at the supplies, it doesn't even seem to matter as TLO is out of energy with those infestors. He has to run, and he's down 30, almost 40 supply.
Hydra's helping out a lot, man. All that damage. TLO with just a few roaches remaining. Those roaches are picking up drones once more. TLO's infestors did get fungled, and these infestors will fall unless he's able to burrow them. But nope, not paying attention anymore. Those infestors will fall. TLO's trying to do the same thing on the other side, but these roaches were so low on HP that he's not able to achieve all that much.
162 supply for TLO, 180 for Hyun. Very, very even game. These guys so evenly matched. Hyun replacing some drones because he feels like he lost a lot, and he did lose a lot. Actually, magically brings himself up to 68 to 70.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because now in Heart of the Swarm ban, this is something that I already noticed after playing so much Heart of the Swarm. It's so much easier to always just keep track of your workers. Okay, 16 works per base. Now if you're on one base, that's not a big deal. If you're on a 40-minute macro game where you go up to 5-6 bases, which I believe it or not, have every now and then. I know that you're skeptical about that statement, man, but it happens. But in situations like this, it's so hard when you're worried about position all the time, when you try to keep vision over your opponent's army, when you want to make sure you won't get caught off guard with anything. It's really hard to keep track of the amount of drones you have at every base and the amount of workers that you eventually want to have, because you can't really go through all the bases. But Hyun doing a fantastic job in that regard.
Another big fight starting to shape up here. Pretty good fungal by Hyun, catching a lot of clumped up roaches.
Fungal.
This is a much better position for Hyun to fight from, but TLO seems to have more infestors. That could possibly turn this fight around.
17 Hydras, man, for Hyun. 17.
And looks like that is going to be...
+3 is ready as well.
The big game changer, the Hydra count making such a huge difference. TLO's forced to cast fungals as he's retreating, and that is never how you want to do it. 14 more roaches in production for TLO, but they're not going to be out for a while.
Oh, so many units are so extremely low on HP for Hyun, but TLO just doesn't have any fungals anymore.
And the damage output of Hyun's armor. He's got +3 attack. He's got +2 armor. He's ahead in every upgrade. He's got more Hydras. I think this is actually the final moments. GG does get called.
Wow, such an even game.
What a great game that was.
TLO really put up an excellent fight, and it seemed even from time to time where he was slightly ahead. I guess the real turnaround was that big fight at the fort base of Hyun, where TLO did drop some really, really great fungals over the entire line of the army of Hyun, but I guess the Hydras, that fight, really making the difference.
Hydras make a huge difference. When Hydras are trading with roaches, when the roaches are attacking the Hydras and the Hydras are attacking the Hydras just die too fast. But when the Hydras aren't getting attacked directly, they do so much damage, and they just obliterate armies. And we kind of saw that there near the end of that last game. So Hyun does go up 1-0. That game brought to you by Epson Projectors, the world's #1 projector brand, with a full line of bright projectors with brilliant image quality. Check out epson.com/projectors for all the details. We're going to take a short break. Lots more StarCraft still to come from the NASL. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back.